Hello everyone, this is SMA Watts, and I'm bringing you a deck tech for the daily I just completed earlier today. This is my, well, not really mine. This is a green-white Selesnya beatdown deck. It's heavily based on the deck that Craig Wesco won the Pro Tour with. Um, Now, I made a couple of changes, mostly due to budget. The fact that I do not have I don't have any voice of resurgences. They're a little, that $40 price tag is just a bit too steep for me at the moment. So I had to pull those out of the deck. And also, I made some main deck shifts because he built his deck primarily because with the idea that he knew he'd be playing against a good amount of control decks, and the Return to Ravnica block on MTGO is dominated by mono red. So it's sort of an opposite metagame. But this deck should be good against both. I mean, it is the mid-range deck. It should be able to beat aggro, and it should be able to be fast enough to beat control most times. I played rather loose today, though, so I'll be honest. My finish is mostly my own fault and no one else's. So, yes. So I actually lowered the land count by one because I did a lot of dry run playtests, and I found that I'd often flood it out. I tried to skim that down. It's sort of a rough thing because you really want to be able to cast Advent of the Worm. Like ideally, you want to go turn 4 at the end of their turn, drop that bomb, but you don't really ever want to see another land after that. It's an I, mana seems awkward to me in this deck, and I need to figure out exactly how to do it. So, um, we have our 22 lands as evenly distributed as possible because, in case you don't really notice, with the only a couple of exceptions, uh, this deck, everything in this deck is in fact green/white. Civic Saber is just colorless, and for the purpose, all intents and purposes, Judge's Familiar is white in this deck, and Experiment 1 is blue. Or, really, he's blue. Experiment 1 is green. You can tell by the fact that he costs a little tree and, the color green. But beyond these two being monocolored and Rootborn Defenses being monocolored, everything else requires either or, in the case of Dryad Familiar, or both. So you really, really need to go 1-2, either green then white or white then green, to have any Otherwise you're just going to be sitting with dead cards in your hand. Um, let's see. Because I don't have the Voices of Resurgence, and because of the metagame, we have 4 Centaur healers in the main deck. They provide that crucial. They're a 3/3, which blocks and kills most of Mono Red's creatures and trades with the rest, and gives you that 3 life. Um, and then I don't have 4 Rootborn Defenses main deck because I'm not particularly, the likelihood of getting Supreme Verdict is a little bit lower. I do have the other 2 in the sideboard, and I have the Tagazi Guild Mages in place of Rootborn Defenses. It's just an extra beater. All right. Our sideboard, and this is probably where my play was absolutely the loosest because this is sort of slapdash. We have 3 Pithing Needles. These are against a couple of cards that can really be a beating against us. Like, it's very hard for us to beat like a turn 2 Pack Rat. It's very hard for us. Like, Aetherling is something you can shut down with Pithing Needle. Though I don't know if it's really right to sideboard in Pithing Needle just to deal with Aetherling. Like, you would really hope to be fast enough that before they can drop an Aetherling, you've killed them. Gideon is obviously should be sided in against a lot of the control decks because he's hard to. There's very few spells that actually deal with Gideon. I mean, really, they have to throw like. Well, if they have Dreadbore, they can Dreadbore him, but there are very few targeted removal spells that actually take him out. Like even Warleader's Helix, assuming you drop him and then +1 him, Warleader's Helix won't kill him. we have the extra two Vitugazis and Rootborn defenses in the sideboard. And then we have for our anti mono red package, we have Gift of Orzhova and Unflinching Courage, which you would hope most times is enough life gain to just put them out of reach. But they can do a lot of damage. Like mono red is a very powerful deck in this format. And then the Druid Deliverance is mostly against the mid-range mirror, being able to blank an attack, like hopefully blank their attack step and populate. You can be, that that can be the game there. I don't have a lot to say about this deck because, well, one, I found that my play on the deck was a little loose, so I really my commentary would inherently be a little bit flawed, and plus it's based on a proven successful deck, so I just don't. The main reason I'm doing this deck tech is that I don't personally feel comfortable. Well, comfortable is not wrong. I don't like posting up videos of me playing a deck without at least giving a cursory go over of the deck, so you can at least know like kind of what was in the deck. So if you were curious what my actual deck layout looked like, here it is. And thank you for watching / listening, and hopefully you'll watch the videos of me having some relatively loose play, and you can give me pointers to where I miss